How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, and in front of me is my 1991 Mercedes 500 SL parts car, and today we're going to go ahead and remove some of the parts that I've sold off. Now, there's quite a bit of really good parts still left on this car, so if you guys need anything, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll let you know if it's available, something I can take off and possibly ship out to you, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I decided this is definitely a video-worthy part, because I got lost trying to take it off, finally figured it out, and we got one of the sides off, and that is the hood hinge. You will not believe what it takes to get these hood hinges off, and if you're gonna tackle this job, I suggest you give yourself quite a bit of time to do it, because you need to take off your fenders, which you need to take off your front bumper technically to get these fenders off, and underneath those fenders are gonna be some heavy-duty springs attached to your hood hinge. You need to get the bolts off there, and finally, if you have it in the proper position, you can slide off those hood hinges. And let me tell you, I made the mistake of taking the hood off first because I sold the hood, and it was so difficult to get these hinges into that position. You can see that side right there that we're gonna be taking off. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, is in the proper position. So before you start tackling this job, make sure you keep your hood on. Make sure you can adjust your hood into the full open position. That is gonna make this job so much easier for you. Now what I'm gonna do is pull this car out. I'm gonna show you guys how to take off the other side. Not gonna show you guys how to take the fender off because there's a whole bit to that. But what you have to do is take all the bolts off along here. There are several bolts, or two bolts, I mean, inside the door here, and a couple underneath this bottom panel that you have to pull off. And then I believe there's one or two up underneath the bumper here. So you really do need to remove this bumper. I got this fender off without removing the bumper, but it's much better if you pull the bumper off. I had to pull the bumper off to the side. You could easily bend or damage the fender or damage the bumper. So I suggest taking the bumper off. I'm probably gonna pull this bumper off to get to the other side. So let's go ahead and get this car pulled out, get that fender off so I can show you guys exactly what it looks like and how you get these hood hinges off. So I know I said I wasn't gonna show you guys how to take this fender off, but I really felt like I needed to fill you in. Now you've got a bunch of 10mm bolts along here, pretty self-explanatory to take off. Here's where it gets a little funky. You have to open up the door all the way, and you've got two 10mm bolts. I know on the W140, I think it's 3, but it's 2 on here that I see. And then two 8mm that hold on this lower panel. That's where it gets really confusing, because you gotta pop this lower panel off out of the tabs, and underneath there, I believe there's 2 more 10mm bolts, and you're still not done. You have some up front that connect up underneath the bumper. So I'll show you guys when I get up front how that one works, but these were the funky ones that I wanted to tell you guys about, because if you don't know they're there, you might start pulling on the fender, you might bend something, damage something, and I wanted to let you guys know that they are under there, and don't go pulling on this till you know you have all of the bolts off. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little. I don't need this fender off. This is just a parts car. Even if I sell this fender, I can play around with taking it off down the road, and I definitely don't feel like taking that bumper off. I need to get these parts off and sent out. You could probably get away with what I'm about to do at home. Just be very careful you don't bend your fender. It is bolted up front, but I did play around with this, and it is stabilized there. It's not doing any damage to the fender, so if you wanna do it this way, it'll keep you from having to take that front bumper off. Now, the main thing is getting this part in its service position. Like I said, I cannot stress that enough. This is gonna allow you to pull the spring off. So once this is up in this position, even if you're gonna keep the hood on or take it off, make sure you get it in this position first. I damaged it a little bit here. It's not gonna affect the usage of it, but there's usually a little rubber cover over this, and it was very, very difficult for me to get this up into the service position without the hood on there. So I'm just gonna let you know now, make sure you get it in the service position. That is gonna allow us to remove our spring. So if you look down in here, now our spring is loose. You wanna make sure you see what position that spring is in. I can see it's in the second notch, just like the other side. Now I should be able to slide this spring out. I'm just gonna set it off to the side there. You could pull it off completely. And then I've got a few bolts now I've got to take off. You've got the front one here that's going to allow us to slide this arm off, this mechanism, which is going to allow us to slide the whole thing out. And you have 2 more nuts down here. I believe they're 10mm, one there and one there, that is holding this entire hood hinge assembly in. So let me go ahead and get set up. I'm going to show you guys how this all comes out. Okay, so I just went ahead and tested them. They are all 10mm, all 3 of them. So let's go ahead and get those off. I'm gonna take this middle one off. I think that middle one might need to come off. before the outside one. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now it's on the tight. Just notice this, it's actually Loctited, that one there. So you might want to Loctite those back on when replacing these hood hinges. Just that middle bolt looks like it had Loctite on there. Go ahead and get this last one off. All right. Now we should be able to slide everything out of here. Oh, there's one more down on the end here I didn't see, so there is 3. So I'll go ahead and get that last one right now. Oh, battery's dying. Come on. Oh, we got it. Good. Battery's dead on that. All right, now let's go ahead and release this. So I got to be honest, this little arm here came off very easily on the other side, but it's giving me a little bit of trouble. It just seems like it's stuck on there. Probably some penetrating fluid get it off, but since we're doing it this way, I got to see if I can get something down in here to kind of hit it and knock it loose. And there it goes. Didn't expect that. So yeah, it was just probably oxidized a little bit on there. It's not rusted, which is great. And that will allow you to pull this piece out. Now, this side has a fuse box on it, so you got to try to wiggle it past that, I guess. Didn't have that problem on the other side. Let's see. I hope we don't have to take that fuse box out. I think it's going to come though. Just a little manipulation here. There we go. Finally, geez. You might have to take that fuse box out if you don't want to damage it, but I got it out. No damage done to the fuse box. Just a heads up there. It is pretty darn close. It's going to be a difficult one sliding this back in there, but that's it, guys. I would love to say that's it, but that was a very difficult job just for some hood hinges. Don't know why they did it, but that kind of shows you guys how to do it. You guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video.